How's it going, everyone? Figured I'd start something new. Change my channel up a little bit. Add some couple little videos. I'm gonna do an unboxing of a drone that I just received today. It's a Parrot Bebop drone. I know this one's been out for a while, but I figured I would let everybody see what's in the box and go from there. So on here it has all different kinds of things, all the different specifications and all that good stuff. So let's see what we got in the box. Now, there she be. You have a battery right here. The drone itself is in there. You have a secondary battery and charger, which is kind of cool that it comes with two batteries. Some drones don't. Down inside the box, there's also instructions. They are very vague. I have already looked over some of this stuff. They are very, very vague. You have a complete set of extra props, front and rear, a prop nut tool, which I'll show how that works here in just a little bit. You have a data cable for the drone if you need to connect it to a computer to update stuff. It also gives you what they call the hull. This is for indoor flying. It comes with a box all the way up here in the front that is various assorted connectors for different areas of country and all that good jazz. Let's see. We will take some of this stuff out of here. And I'll show you how it all connects on and see what we can do. Get this box out of the way. Alright. Now when you get your drone, it comes with all the usual stuff. There's a battery that's installed on here. This is the little connector for it that pulls out. I'll use this one because this one's actually charged. You will connect it as so. And then slide it up inside. And it'll latch. And on the side here, this just goes down inside to hold the battery together so it don't go anywhere. And like that, that works. And on the front it has a lens cap that comes off, and that's where your camera's at. Now this one does not have a gimbal setup on it. Instead it has image stabilization, which I've flown this once already, and it actually works pretty good until you pan all the way up or all the way down and you try to move, and then you see everything. But it has vibration isolators. There's 4 of them on the bottom, and the whole top half of the chassis is completely separate of the bottom, so it will dampen your vibrations. And I did notice that under extreme flying, like hard turns, banks, and stops, you will get a little flutter in the image, but other than that, there's no other issue I've had. Everything on this drone is laid out very cleanly. You have both the wires that run to your brushless motors, front and rear, and then you have 2 antennas that come off, and they run right up along and through here on both sides. Your ultrasonic sensor and image sensor for GPS lock and height lock and all that good jazz. On the back, this is where your data port's at for the drone. If you need to update reflash software, if you can't download it through Wi-Fi, your on-off switch. Yeah, that's about all that there is to it. your nice little bumpers that they give you for indoor flying, they just snap on right underneath the motors. You'll see right where the wires come out. You squeeze it and it slips right over it on all four sides. Just like that. That's all there is to it. Squeeze, slip. And you're done. And you're ready for indoor flying. Now I do know that in the app you have to go into what's called the hull mode. You have to go into your settings and change it. That way it doesn't try to use the GPS in the house. If not, it'll wind up throwing it all crazy and running into stuff and all that good stuff. But yeah, from there you just squeeze to remove. And it took me forever to figure out what this little doodad was. I had to actually watch an unboxing video myself to figure out what it was. But this is your prop remover. You got 3 little holes, you got 3 little nuts, and these are quick disconnect. So you just set it down on it, hold, and twist the prop, and once you get it where it needs to go, the prop comes right off for easy replacement. And it's the same way putting it back on. You just line up the holes with the nut, with the little screws, turn until it stops, and you're done. Simple as that. And so far, flying this little guy, my dad has a Phantom 3, and I love flying it, but it's more of a camera drone, more for just videography, as where this one here kind of reminds me of a mix between the two, because it's a fast little fun flyer. I've had it whipping around and all that good stuff, but it'll also take really good video. It's 14 megapixel camera. You can go into the settings and adjust them, I believe. This one did not come with the Sky Controller, which that will be one of the next things that I invest in, is the Sky Controller. Now, it says that it can go up to 1.25 miles with the Sky Controller, which is by far a whole lot further than what the Phantom 3 has, the 3 standard anyway. But so I'm kind of curious as to how far it can get. I do know that when I did fly it, now it was 32 or around 32 degrees outside, and the battery only lasted for 7 minutes. That is the one drawback that I did find out with this little guy. But it is nice that they give you 2 batteries instead of just 1. But the issue that I'm having is I've already messaged Parrot about it, but this is the second battery, and when it came, when I got this, the second battery was installed like this, sitting inside the box. And when I went to go charge this one will not take a charge now. It is a complete dead battery. It will not discharge, will not charge, it will not do anything. So I'm left into the wind with this one. So I'm down to just 1 battery now. So I'll pull up the app. It tells you to download Free Flight 3, I think is what it is. Yes, Free Flight 3. But I soon found out that I guess Parrot has done a bunch of updates since this little guy came out, and it is now called Free Flight Pro. So you go into it. Actually, let me turn this guy on so I can get to everything and show you. Go in here. It takes a little bit to boot up, but you'll hear the beeps for the ESCs. There they go, all 4 of them. Now your drone is ready. Turn on your Wi-Fi, find your Bebop drone, tap on it, connected. From there the fan kicks on and stays on, and yes, it gets hot right up underneath here. Very hot. I've not been burned by it, but it gets pretty warm. Alright, so first thing you'll see when you get into here is this is what it looks like. This is your free flight, and you'll see the video kind of moves back and forth, but when you go into it, it does not do anything. You have your battery percentage, your Wi-Fi connection, your controller if you have like a Sky controller. Over here it tells you the drone, and when you tap on it, it goes in and it tells you all your motors are good, your battery's good, you can check for updates, all your serial number and everything. You can buy what they call flight plan, which on a Phantom drone you have to actually buy a completely different thing to do the same thing, but it's almost $30 to $40, I believe, if I remember correctly. This one here was only $19.99, and you can plot your course and it'll fly it on its own. But this one here is kind of cool versus the Phantom stuff. The Phantom stuff you have to actually fly it and plot it. This one here, I can plot it and it flies it on its own. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to fly it out to its destination, set the waypoint, and then move on. This one here, I can set it off of the map and then just fly. From here, you go into your flight, and this is what you'll see. You can see there's the video, and you'll see that it's choppy and all that, but once you download the video, it actually looks really good. Auto takeoff. This is your GPS, how close it says that the GPS is tracking you. Over here, the little green arrow, it says that you have GPS lock. Your drone's at 100%. You can, your Wi-Fi signal, the height off the ground, how fast you're flying. And this one here I've not really messed with much, but it's the GPS location for it, which I've not really figured out how to work it yet because it looks really weird. Your controls, up, down, yaw, forward, back, left and right, like a normal drone. This one here, I did learn that you do not have to hit record when you take off. You actually take off, and as soon as you hit takeoff, it starts recording, which is kind of weird, because sometimes I don't like recording when I'm flying. I just fly around. But you have two fingers in the center, will adjust your camera. And this is all done digital. It's a fisheye lens that they have, and you only see the center section of it. So when you move it, you're actually panning up and down on the original video. But what you see on the recording is what looks like it panning up and down. You have return to home, which I did learn this is not a return to home and land. This is a return to your takeoff point. So it'll fly back to where you were and hover. This button here, you can do flips, front flip, back flip, right, left. I've not figured out what this one is. I tried doing it when I was flying. I thought it was to go around a point. I have not figured out what it is yet. Camera, you can take still pictures just by tapping it, and that takes a still picture. Your gear goes into your settings, so you can disable your auto launch. Your eye spacing is if you want to go into FPV view and you have FPV goggles. The only way you can use this is if you have a like a Sky controller or a secondary controller where you can fly it off of that and not have to use your phone. But that's to configure the spacing of how far apart it is for your eyes. Your plotting goes in, and your joystick mode you can change to normal, which uses the gyroscopic sensors in your phone. And then you have your height up and down and your yaw. Then you have an ace setting, which still uses the gyroscopes in your phone, but it gives you the use of this side to move the camera around, like a complete gimbal setup. And then the last one you have is the joystick that I was just using. I'm still trying to learn how to fly this little thing. But in the middle you have to use another set of fingers to adjust the camera. You have your max inclination, max tilt speed, max vertical speed, max rotation. I have all mine set to max because I'm more of a racer drone style flyer. But now if I'm doing videos, I can also just slightly move it and it will slightly turn to do video. That way I have all settings ready to go at my beck and call if I need to get out of trouble. Bank turns, I didn't really care for this. It flew really weird and kind of had like a twitch to it when it flew. Don't really know. This is where you're going to come in for your accessories. When you go to use what they call the hull for indoor flying, you'll tap on this and it will actually turn off your GPS and just use line of sight. Next on the list is position. You can do your calibration for your magnetometer sensors, your flat trim, so if it's kind of flying funny, you can flat trim everything. Here you can set your max altitude to from 1.6 feet all the way up to 490, and I think FAA regulations is under 300. So I keep mine right about there. My max distance that I can fly is 2 miles, or 1.2 miles, excuse me. I know I can't fly that with only having like a 7-minute flight time, but it's nice to know that I can go out and fly back seeing different things. Geofencing, I can make it to where, like, if I'm flying around my yard and I have butthole neighbors that don't like drones and they think I'm watching them and they shoot my drone out of the sky, geofencing will make it to where I can set the limits of where my drone flies only on my property, and if they were to do something, I could get them, because it'll pull up. I'll show you here in a little bit where you can pull up your actual GPS data and shows where you were flying. But geofencing makes it to where when you're flying near one of them, it'll stop it and will not let it fly past that point. Next on there is return to home. You have all your GPS signals for the drone, your controller, and your return to home is set. This down here is if your phone disconnects from the drone for any reason, you can set a delay on how long you want it to wait before it says, hey, I don't have a signal, I need to go back home. I keep mine at 0 right now just in case my phone decides to shut off or I get a phone call and all that good stuff where I'm still trying to learn it. Video, it's set to standard right now. I usually try to keep it at high. I don't know why it was on standard. You can adjust your frame rates from 24, 25, or 30. I keep mine at 30. Roll stabilization. I'll go out and I'll show you what roll stabilization is. Now, I can pick up the drone and move it, and you see the camera stays still. Up and down has slight movement, side to side has no movement. I can go back into here and go down to my video, and I can turn off roll stabilization. Go back out. Now you see I still have stabilization this way, but this way I do not. So there is no stabilization that way. I've been keeping mine on just for video right now, so I don't know what the difference is. I've not figured it out yet. If I go FPV view, maybe I will eventually switch it off just to get a more realistic flight feel. Next thing down is anti-flickering. It says this option reduces blinking caused by artificial light. Now it's set to auto. That's how it is when it came out of the box. So I just left it there. Networking. I had trouble, and I've read online that a lot of people have trouble with the GPS lock. When I got this, I didn't have any trouble with it, and I updated to the new firmware on here, and it updated the drone to 3.3.0, and it puts it on 2.4 gigahertz auto, and it would not pick up a GPS lock for the life of it. I put it over here on auto, and it auto scans frequencies to find the best frequency to fly at, and when I did that, I get GPS lock. As soon as I turn it on, I get GPS lock easily. Here's where you can also check off indoor-outdoor flight. So nothing really changes on here. It just, you tap it and it changes that. What else is there? I think that's about it. I'm not really messed with the auto launch stuff, so I'm not 100% sure what the auto launch is supposed to be for. I just leave it enabled. That's about it. So if y'all want more videos, I plan on putting up a couple more outside flying and all that good stuff, and I'll post up a couple videos of the drone actually flying, which when you do it, you will go back out to your home screen, and up here it'll have your storage, and you pull it up, and this is what it'll show, and this is what it'll ask you to transfer or delete. And this was just from sitting here where I took the one picture. I'll transfer that fast. I don't usually keep them on the drone because it's got a very small storage space. It's only got 7 gigs of storage, and it's not upgradable. But a 7-minute flight time only took me down to 1.2 gig of use. So I mean, it's not too bad. Once you download it, you can come over here and go into your photos, and this was the image that it took just sitting there. This was a video from earlier that I had, and this gives you an idea of what they look like with image quality. Now, it was really overcast, not sunny. This was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and you can see that it's got really good image quality for what it is. But yeah, if you guys like what you see, like, share, subscribe. I plan on putting up a whole bunch more of this kind of stuff. Eventually I'm gonna get my dad's drone and fly it around. I'm used to flying drones. I've flown a whole bunch of them with some friends, and this was my first personal drone of my own. So figured I'd get everybody a quick look and a little walk around of it. The front half is like a hard styrofoam. All the black that you see is like a plastic. There's a metal tray right here that is what gets hot, and just sitting here that short amount of time, it's hot. It's not hot to where it'll burn me, but it's hot to the touch. Yeah, it's a fun little thing to fly. It zips around quick when you get it set up right. But I will catch y'all on the next video.